Williams once said that he watched a man commit suicide at the Superdome. And he also said this.
When you look out of your hotel room window in the French Quarter and watch a man float by face down, when you see bodies that you last saw in Banda Aceh, Indonesia, and swore to yourself that you would never see in your country.
I accidentally ingested some of the floodwater. I became very sick with dysentery. Our hotel was overrun with gangs. I was rescued in the stairwell of a 5-star hotel in New Orleans.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, how much more of this could we take? Joining us now is John Nolte, editor-at-large at Breitbart.com. Hello, John.
Hi, good to be here. Thanks, Steve.
Great fan of your site, great fan of your work, and nice to have you. Boy, you've done such great writings and postings on this. I don't know where to start, but let's start with the whole fantasy of Katrina. Of course, the hotel manager has come out, as has a newspaper in New Orleans, and said there was no water outside his hotel. There were no floods there. The doctors have said nobody got sick in that area, even dogs that drank that water. And why would he be drinking it? The manager of the hotel said there were no gangs in the hotel stairwell. I mean, my God.
Yeah, it's not just a problem for Brian Williams because he told these tales. I think it's a problem for Brian Williams because he told some of those tales to no less than Tom Brokaw. And Tom Brokaw is still considered the elder statesman of NBC News. Tom Brokaw does not appear to be supporting Brian Williams in any way whatsoever. In fact, reports behind the scenes indicate that he's lobbying for his predecessor in the anchor chair to be fired. And we just put a story up at Breitbart now where we indicate that he might have looked Tom Brokaw in the eyes and lied 3 times about what happened to him in Katrina. And we've actually been holding off on this story. We thought about writing it last week, but we wanted to wait for more witnesses to come forward because it's a pretty alarming headline to put out there. But the Washington Post and some other outlets have found other witnesses. And so far, every witness that has opened up about Katrina that I'm aware of has said that Brian Williams just did not tell the truth in any of these instances.
And you're talking about, as we've heard, watching the man commit suicide in the Superdome, which, by the way, developed into that. At first was he had heard of it, and you're saying he told told Tom Brokaw the suicide story, the dysentery story, and the gangs in the stairwell having to be rescued story.
Right, and actually what he told to Tom Brokaw compared to what he told others, including historian Douglas Brinkley, for his book on Katrina, was subdued. The stuff gets a lot more dramatic elsewhere. Nonetheless, I don't think, if it turns out to be that he was lying, I don't think that lying to Tom Brokaw is going to help him in any way whatsoever. If anything, it's going to become much more toxic in that news division.
Absolutely, and of course, you as you point out in stories that you posted, the Washington Post questioning the Hezbollah chopper story. You got Maureen Dowd saying she knew Brian Williams was pathological. Yet I did a rant earlier on a Give Me 5 of Joe Scarborough, who seemed to me, the way I interpreted it, he was almost threatening the media. He said what a great man he is. He was so nice to his wife and daughter, blah, blah, blah. When they moved in, he's a great guy. So he made a few mistakes. And he said, by the way, I know a lot that has gone on in this business with reporters and politicians. I know a lot. And he said, let me look in the camera. And he stared in the camera and said, don't be the one to cast the first stone. To me, it was like almost threatening to out people, not, their wrongdoings, if they dare to keep bashing Brian Williams.
Yeah, well, that's just Joe Scarborough being Joe Scarborough. He's got to insert himself into the story. He's got to be the big man. But, of course, what he ends up doing is just proving himself to be the despicable human being that he is. Number one, apparently he's holding on to news. He knows things that he's not sharing with the public when it's his job to share those things with the public. So he's part of the cover-up. Secondly, he's defending Brian Williams, and yet this is the same Joe Scarborough that waits for the most opportune and vulnerable time.
We got to go quickly here.
to stab Republicans in the back.
Absolutely. Hey, listen, John, great talking to you, sir. We'll read you at Breitbart.com. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jay Costa's next, folks. Don't go away.